So when it comes to Roland Emmerich, he's done a lot in the department of disaster movies and war movies. He's done Aliens, he's done the Revolutionary War, Big Green Monsters, the Ice Age, the End of the World. So what's left? World War II, of course. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Roland Emmerich's next big blockbuster coming out over Veterans Day weekend, and that is Midway. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this movie, if you're able to catch an advanced screening, or if you do plan on seeing it this weekend. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But in the meantime, let's talk Midway. Midway centers on the Battle of Midway, a clash between the American fleet and the Imperial Japanese Navy, which marked a pivotal turning point in the Pacific theater during World War II. The film, based on real-life events of this historic feat, tells the story of the leaders and the soldiers who used their instincts, fortitude, and bravery to overcome the odds. Now, I will be one of the first to say this, and maybe in the minority, I could be wrong, but I like Roland Emmerich's movies. I don't know why. I just enjoy the fact that he brings this Hollywood spectacle, this movie magic to life, and I kind of consider him a glorified Michael Bay. I say that because Michael Bay, he is a man that knows how to deal with explosions and action and CGI, but his substance in regards to characters and stories, not so good. With Roland Emmerich, it's the same story, but somehow he's able to give us this illusion to where we could ignore all that and still enjoy what we're seeing on the screen visually. But with every good movie, you usually need a good story, some of the time. With these popcorn flicks, sometimes you're just there for the entertainment. That's mostly what Roland Emmerich and Michael Bay do for the most part. And I just love what Roland Emmerich brings to the screen. He does mostly disaster films and some war historical related movies. But if you are somewhat familiar with history like I am, you are aware that the Battle of Midway, it was a famous war that happened in the Pacific after the Pearl Harbor attack, after the Doolittle raid. And these are events that also take place at the beginning of this movie. Some people may be thinking this is Pearl Harbor, Michael Bay's movie, all over again. Well, to a certain extent it is. And in some ways, this movie kind of reminded me of Pearl Harbor. But in ways, I think this movie was better because with Pearl Harbor, the film is 3 hours long. The title of the movie is Pearl Harbor. The attack on Pearl Harbor does not happen till well over an hour into the movie. The majority of the film has to do with a love triangle between 3 characters, and a good portion of the lead characters, they're fictional. At least for the most part, this movie, a good chunk of everyone, for the exception of I think Nick Jonas's character, everyone that's being portrayed in this film were real life people, and majority of the film was also war related and nothing romantic or nothing fictionalized for the most part. So that's one thing I'll give this movie over Pearl Harbor. But as I already said, the movie opens up with the Pearl Harbor attack and then the Doolittle raid. That's about less than an hour into the movie. But the rest of the film focuses on the Midway attacks, and that is a bit more accurate for a title like this than it was for Pearl Harbor, because the Pearl Harbor movie, that whole attack happened in about 40 minutes. At least for a good hour, you get all of Midway, so it fulfills the title description. Really, that's pretty much it. It's those events and these characters based on real people that are a part of it. And this movie doesn't really bring anything new in regards to movies as a whole, or any like new ideas, or nothing new to this type of genre. And it does feel like a movie you've seen before. And mind you, there is a movie called Midway back in 1976 with Charlton Heston in it, and it's the same type of film. Some of them different characters, but it's overall the same thing. So it feels like you have watched this movie before, but I don't know. I have to say that for these type of movies made by Emmerich, I just enjoy them. I like this movie. Yes, of course, it has a lot of inaccuracies and a lot of things that were sour amongst the characters and the storyline, but I don't really care. I liked it. I mean, this is probably what some people consider a guilty pleasure, because his movies don't really get the best of scores. I myself will probably give it a positive score, but I mean, it's comes down to the audience if they love it or not. And I have to say, if you love war films, if you love action, if you love movies with a big ensemble cast, which is another thing I wanted to add on, Roland Emmerich always tends to have a cast of so many talented people, whether they're big movie stars or they're just well-known actors. And here you have so many, I mean, I can't even think all of them at the top of my head. You have Dennis Quaid, you have Darren Criss, you have Mandy Moore, you have Nick Jonas, Woody Harrelson, Aaron Eckhart, Patrick Wilson. I know there's a few more that I can think of right now, but that's a lot right there. And they're all talented people. But unfortunately, they are playing real people, but the way they portray them in the movies, you don't really care for them as much as it was for a movie you'd be watching that has a strong script and strong characters. It's just for fun, and I don't think the guy cares if it has a good story or not. If it has a good idea to it and it's going to make a good, entertaining movie, he goes for it and just makes it. So I think you'll like it if you tend to love his other movies. So final thoughts, it's an entertaining movie. Visually, it's incredible as usual, as only Emmerich can do it. And yes, the script isn't good, the characters are not as convincing, but he puts on that illusion to make it entertaining. And in the end, hey, if you liked it, that's all that matters, because I did. So make sure you take a look on my letterbox to take a look at my more in-depth thoughts on this movie. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like if you like this video, and comment below. Once again, tell me what you thought about this movie if you happen to watch it already. And don't forget to consider subscribing so we can talk movies and more. I'll see you later.